What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Engage 8 podcast. I'm your host, Zach, with my two co hosts, Josh and Mike. Today, we're going to be recapping the NBA Finals. The Celtics took it in five, so we'll talk about that for a little bit. And then afterwards, we're each going to go over our top 10 quarterbacks in the NFL. So it'll probably differ from the three of us, but Josh, you want to get us started with the NBA Finals?
All right, we'll start with the NBA Finals. We kind of knew this about a week ago. That's why we didn't really talk about it on last week's show, or we didn't talk about it all on last week's show. The Celtics win the NBA Finals, win banner number 18. Jaylen Brown now has 4 months to get those four rings that he promised to Taylor Rooks a while back. I don't think he'll do that, but at least he's 1/5 of the way there. He also wins Finals MVP. I honestly I was thinking beforehand of like what I really want to say about this series as a whole, but at the end of the day, it's all about the Celtics. They were the most complete team in the NBA from day one of the season. They win 64, they go what 64 and 18 in the regular season and 16 and 3 in the postseason. So what's that one? I don't know. I'm not gonna do math, but they won a lot of games and lost very few. So the Celtics were the most dominant team from start to finish. They're the most well-rounded team. They're great defensively. They don't have any weaknesses on either end of the court. You have Drew Hop,
80 and 21.
80 and 21. There you go. Yeah, 64 plus 16. Wow. For some reason, 84 plus 16 was what was in my head, and I was like 100. I was like, there's no way that can be right. So I just gave up. But anyways, they needed a guy that can be a Marcus Smart role, but still provide a ton offensively, whether that's being a distributor, being a scorer, and they get that in Drew Holiday. He is honestly, if we're talking about the actual most valuable player, he probably is the most valuable player to the Celtics right now. The Celtics remind me a lot of like the Pistons teams that won in the early 2000s, where they didn't have like one player that was way better than the rest, or two. I mean, I guess the Celtics kind of have two players that are way better than the rest, but they're a unit more than they are a a superstar driven team. I think Jaylen Brown and Tatum are both superstars. I don't think either of them are top five players. But when you have guys like Porzingis didn't really play well in this series outside of game one, but he was so hurt, so it doesn't matter. Guys like Drew Holiday who are proven winners that do everything on the court for you. It's hard to lose in that spot. And at the end of the day, the Mavericks were just too one dimensional. Luca was a crybaby bitch the entire finals. He wasn't good in the finals. Every praise and ounce of praise I gave him for the first three series and how he played defense completely went out the window. The Celtics attacked him for 5 games. He couldn't do anything about it. He would get blown by. Then Lively or Gafford has to play up. And you just can't do that against the Celtics because the guy from the corner is going to be cutting in for an easy dunk every single time. That was this whole series. Luca couldn't guard anybody. Kyrie couldn't guard anybody. At least Kyrie was mature about it. Luca was a bitch, and that's all I have to say about it. If his character was better, or if he I don't know, put in more effort on his body and his conditioning, maybe this wouldn't be a problem for them. But regardless, we knew he was gonna come off limping at the end and not an NBA champion. But I don't think he plays winning basketball. And I thought for a good 3, 4 weeks there in the first round of the third round that he did play winning basketball. That completely went out the window this past week and a half. And the team that played better deserved to win, and that was the Celtics.
I completely agree. But with Luca, I think it was a good amount of just picking on him defensively through the first three games, but then game four, when the Mavs actually won, they got a big lead and they were creating a lot of transition opportunities. They're getting Luka and Kyrie the ball just with a full head of steam down the court and 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s. A lot of that was because Luka was actually playing defense. But then game five, the not the Mavs, the Celtics actually kind of put their foot on their throat and just ended it where it really needed to be. They were hitting shots early and often. But like you said about the early 2000s Pistons, I think there's really been, I think I saw a video or read it somewhere that there's really been a team once every 10 years that wins the championship that doesn't have like a top five player. This year with the Celtics, 2014, it was the Spurs when Tim Duncan was near the end of his career and kind of falling off. And then Kawhi was, he wasn't like elite yet, but he was still showing a lot of promise, but he wasn't top five or top 10. And then, like you mentioned, the Pistons way back in the early 2000s. So there was a lot of talent on this team, and I just have one question. Where does this team rank all time? Because I mean, maybe stacking them against like the 16-17 Warriors, I don't know. Especially with Sean Livingston, he's never missed a shot in his life, or at least a mid-range. 96, 97 Bulls. I it's tough, I guess, but it depends on how you compare the depth of each of those teams. But I'm just curious to hear your guys' thoughts on where this team is all time. Because I mean, 16-3 in the playoffs, that's not easy to do. They were 37-4 at home during the regular season, like you said, Josh. 64 wins during the regular season. They were fantastic. So where does this team stack up all time?
You can go first, Mike. I want to think about this one
Oh,
for a bit.
yeah. I mean, I I'd have to look at it, but I mean, they have a phenomenal season. 16-3, obviously in the playoffs. They were great in the regular season. They were insane at home all season. They have, like you guys said, three players who have all played an elite level in the playoffs: Tatum, Brown, and Holiday. Derek White's been phenomenal. When Porzingis was healthy, he was almost the best player on the court, and I think if he played all 5 games, he could have won Finals MVP. He was phenomenal. But the team as a whole was just so deep, even without Porzingis. They're big, man. They were able to step up with Xavier Tillman had some big games. Luke Cornett was playing games on the early rounds of the playoffs. They're just all around so deep. Just a great team. Brad Stevens did a phenomenal job. Joe Mazzulla was a great coach. He did everything he needed to do. Ime Udoka, just what a sell by him to lose this opportunity to coach this team. But yeah, I don't know where to rank them all time. It'd have to be towards the upper third, but I'd have to look more into it. It's unfortunate that I just don't like the Celtics. But for the Mavericks, I can't really think of a player on the Mavericks team that had a good series at all. Luka was rough. He only shot 24% from three, 47% from the field, but defensively was just terrible, was complaining all the time to the refs, just hurt his team more than he helped them in a lot of moments. Kyrie just did not play good, especially in Boston. He only shot 27% from three, 41% from the field, averaged 19 points. PJ Washington, a guy who had been phenomenal for them all series, all playoffs, only shot 27% from three. Just no one could really get it done for them offensively. They tried to see if Tim Hardaway could do something. Jaden Hardy had a lot of minutes. I think that was game one for some reason. Josh Green showed up in game five, but they just didn't have enough to really compete with how much Boston was throwing at them on the offensive side of the court and defensively. They couldn't shoot free throws either. Their free throw percentage was rough. The Celtics were just a better team. They kind of deserved a sweep, but they got to win it at home in front of their home fans, so good for them. But in terms of all time for the Celtics, I think they have to be in the top third.
Yeah, I've been thinking hard in the past 5 minutes here of how I wanted to rank them. So I'm gonna go in the last 15 years. I think they're tied for the third best team in a three-way tie. I think 17-18 Warriors, those two teams are better. And then I think it becomes a three-way tie between the 13 Heat, last year's Nuggets, and this year's Celtics for the third spot in the last 15 years. I mean, that's 5 dominant playoff runs. The only thing holding the Celtics back is strength of playoffs. But I mean, you play who you play. There's nothing you can do about it. But I mean, I'm going to value a 6-game series against a really good team over a 5-game series against a team that doesn't have their best player at the end of the day. So that's just
And honestly, this series could have been a sweep, but Porzingis was available for game 4, but they said they wouldn't play him unless it was like a specific situation. But then they went down early, so I assume they were just like, you know what, let's not risk it. Let's just save him for the next game. But
I don't even know if that matters, dude. Porzingis sucked in game 5. He was bad.
Yeah,
he had like the worst plus minus on the team. He was getting torched on defense.
But like looking at him in games 1 and 2, you could tell how big of a difference he was making in that if he wasn't on the court, the Mavs just didn't have the size to stop him. Like especially in like that high post game where you would just like stand there and just and then just shoot over him like they were just chairs.
Well, then once he got re-injured, it was like he couldn't play any defense.
He just lost
and
his
then
rhythm,
then once you lose your defense, that's basically wraps. But
and even in terms of the plus minus for the entire series, he had the highest plus minus for the entire series. Still,
Porzingis
even just with,
really,
just with those 2 great games, one in game 2, plus 11.
I think it's fair to note as well. We talked, or did either of you mention the Tatum and Brown last fourth quarter of last game?
Oh no, I did not.
So they were going at it, specifically Tatum for the MVP. It was honestly like really sad to watch, and it kind of ruined the whole vibe of the game. Just End of the game, Tatum trying his absolute hardest to steal it from his teammate who he's been with for the past 6 years, who he knows is going to get it if he doesn't go off. That was kind of fucked up, to be honest. And if I was a Celtics fan, that probably wouldn't sit well with me. But yeah, I don't anything you guys got to say about that. Tatum did lead his team in points, rebounds, and assists for the whole playoffs, but he did not deserve Finals MVP by any chance. I'm happy it was Jaylen Brown.
Oh yeah, Jaylen Brown definitely deserved it. It wouldn't have shocked me to see them give it to Tatum if he had like a 35, 40 point on like great efficiency, like game 5. But throughout the entire playoffs in this series specifically, Jaylen Brown's been the better player. I don't know, you could definitely call them 1A and 1B, especially with how Brown performed in the playoffs. I mean, you guys think it's funny, but I don't know. I mean, the fact that you can have two guys who are both capable of going 30 plus, I think that's really impressive. And they can both perform on the defensive end as well. It's a great duo to have, just not necessarily a super team, but just a very, very well-rounded team built around.
Yeah, I mean, very good duo. They had pretty similar stats in terms of points, rebounds, and assists. But why I give it to Brown was he was playing a lot of defense on Luka, and he was playing phenomenal defense on Luka. Luka had his worst series in the playoffs. Like I said, he only shot 24% from three.
Bad.
Yeah, I mean, he averages 29 points, but
there's people that think he's better than Jokic.
Yeah,
Get the fuck out of here.
The defense he played on Luka, you could tell was impacting the Mavericks as a whole, and I think that helps deserve MVP over Tatum in that aspect.
This is kind of off. I wanted to move in and talk about odds for next season, but talking about Luka got me thinking about Jokic. So this is kind of random, but you guys think Jokic is going to finish top 10 all time? Probably, right?
Yeah, I'd say
Wins
so.
2 more titles.
I think he's already a top
MVP.
5 center of all time.
Yeah, I would agree.
Maybe.
And literally,
top
3
MVP?
might be a stretch. Top 3 might be stretch, but
I wouldn't put him 3.
Top 5, I think I'm comfortable with that.
But no order. I think he's up there with Shaq, Wilt, Kareem, Hakeem, and then maybe him.
Yeah, I mean, he's a 3-time MVP, Finals MVP,
3-time MVP.
Yeah,
He's
got to win another title or 2, though. But he's got to win another title or 2 because even Hakeem has 2, and the rest. Wilt only has 1.
I think I'd have him behind Shaq and Kareem for sure. But Hakeem, Wilt, Bill Russell, I think that's kind of where it gets a little murky.
Yeah, I agree. But I'm happy he's going to get the respect I think he deserves at the end. I don't like Jokic because of obviously what he's done to the Suns, but it just pisses me off when people don't act like he is hands down the best player in the NBA right now. Like, I really cannot accept a different argument. And if there is going to be one, it's Giannis. And I don't want to accept that, but it's not over Luka. Like, Luka's he's such a cancer and a liability at some parts of his game that it's just not, his offensive ability cannot overshadow that. We just saw it.
I mean, when he has a bad series like this, it'll definitely leave a sour taste in your mouth. But when he's at his best, I mean, playing average defense, but then being able to give you like 35, 10, and 10 on the other side.
We're forgetting, though,
his teammates.
He was great in the Western Conference Finals. He was not good offensively in the first 2 rounds either. He was just good on defense. So he got away with it.
Yeah.
So, like,
and we talked about it. We were like, what would you rather have? The guy dropping 35 on crazy efficiency and play no defense, or like 25 on like efficiency, but then average defense to help you on the other end of the floor?
Take the defense.
Yeah.
But also
it worked out. But then this series, when he wasn't playing defense, it suffered.
Yeah.
So
wasn't playing defense. I mean, like, I obviously joke about the crying thing, but like that, I genuinely do. Everything that Brian Windhorst said last week is 100% true. And that is it's a serious issue, dude. Like, genuinely, Mavs fans have to feel some type of way about him. Like, even though obviously they love him and he's their GOAT, they got to feel some type of way about, okay, he's kind of doing too much. Because he does. Like, that was an obvious foul on Jaylen Brown. We didn't get to talk about that, but that was a block. Like, the fact that he screamed at his bench to fucking challenge it and shit, and like, then the next play they needed the challenge too, and they didn't have it, and they didn't have Luka. You love to see it.
Yeah.
But
that really hurt him. Looking at Jokic though, I'd have to put him at 6 right now for top centers of all time.
Behind Russell, Wilt, Kareem, Shaq, and Hakeem.
Yeah, Kareem, Wilt, Russell, Shaq, and Hakeem. Yeah,
I'd have him at 6 as well right now. Closest one maybe is
Hakeem
Wilt.
have?
No chance. Wilt's like top 2, bro.
Wilt only has 1 title though. You
I
have
don't
to.
care.
I
Dude, I
can't.
mean, Wilt averaged like 30 and 25
Yeah,
over his career, bro.
but we
Who was he
don't
playing?
Wilt
really
averaged like
know
45
that.
in a season,
We
bro.
don't.
Wilt averaged like 45 in back-to-back seasons.
I've
with like
done that in two.
Wait,
30
with that
boards.
logic, are you putting him
Like-
above Kareem and Shaq? I don't think you're putting him above
No.
Kareem and Shaq.
The next tallest player Wilt played against was like
I got
6'8".
Kareem one, and then
Like-
Wilt, and then Shaq.
You have Wilt above Shaq?
Yeah.
Damn.
Wow. Okay.
There's something to say about averaging fucking 40 points
I think
in a
I got
season,
Wilt
bro.
at 4. I think I got Wilt at 4. There's something to say. Of course, there's something to say about averaging
I think
50
I
in a
have
season,
Wilt
but
at
there's something to say about
6,
who
and
the
then Jokic
fuck was
at
he playing
5.
against.
Maybe 4.
Okay, you got Bill Russell there too.
Yeah, I have both of them below Hakeem.
I don't know. He has 2 championships, by the way.
Oh, I
I
thought
have
he only had
Hakeem
one.
at like the second or
No,
worst.
Wilt has
out of,
2.
like,
I
the
know
6.
Hakeem has 2. That changes a little bit though. I thought Wilt had 1.
He has 2.
But we can move into talking about odds for next year. I got them pulled up here. Teams 32, 31, 30, 20. Teams 28 through 32 all have plus 50,000 odds. That's the Jazz, Pistons, Nets, Wizards, and Trailblazers. You can stop me if you want to interject as I go through this list. Next, 27 Hornets plus 30,000, 26 Raptors plus 30,000, 25 Bulls plus 15,000.
Hammer it.
24 Spurs plus 10,000, 23 Hawks plus 10,000, 22 Rockets plus 7,500, 21 Kings 6,000.
Okay, I'm gonna have to stop you real quick. How are the Rockets having top 4 picks year after year, and they continue to be like bottom 10 in odds and just in everything?
I think they're eventually going to break through. Something tells me they're eventually going to hit a mark. I don't know. I like Ime. I know he's got to be hurting right now, but I like him.
He's got to
I
keep it in
mean,
his pants.
Yeah, honestly, dude. All-time bag fumble.
But how many top
guess it
4
wasn't
picks
he
do you
along, but-
need before you finally like get one that turns into a superstar and like
Yeah,
at least
I don't
takes
know.
control of the situation? Plus, you have Sengun, who's very good. He
They had a
wasn't
good
top
end
4
of the
pick,
year,
but
They
still
do.
very
They had
good.
a
They
good-
do have
they had a
Jock
solid
Landale.
end.
Is he not a superstar?
Jock Landale, yeah, and I would probably put him in superstar.
Jalen Green in the back half of the year, back half of the season was very good. After didn't he become a dad? And then he started like averaging damn near like 26 or something.
Who is it that talks a lot of shit? Is that Tari Eason? That talks a lot of
Dylan
shit.
Brooks.
That could be. That's an
No,
LSU
they
legend
do.
right there, though.
It is an LSU legend. But moving on here, 20 Pelicans 6,000 plus 6,000, 19 Magic plus 5,000. That's kind of low considering they were just in the playoffs. But Grizzlies 5,000, 18 Cavs 4,000, 17 Pacers 4,000. I don't know if these numbers are right. I might end and it's like all right 2 and it's the top one. But regardless, 16 Heat 3,500, 15 Suns plus 2,800. Under teams such as the Warriors, 76ers. I mean, come on.
It's just because of all the potential rumors of like Beal may be gone, but that's most likely not going to happen because of the no trade clause, and KD maybe being gone or like asking out.
No team with KD and Devin Booker has 2,800 odds. But regardless,
I'm looking at it right now. They
what
do.
about Golden State Warriors at plus 2,500? They're the next best.
Oh, I don't agree with them, but I'm
that's
saying like they
wild.
have them there.
Yeah, regardless, I guess Hospital plus 22. Oh, I mean, sorry. Los Angeles Clippers plus 2,200. Los Angeles Lakers plus 2,200. Those 3 teams above the Suns is ludicrous, but and the 76ers plus 1,800. I mean, it's getting bad, bro.
Let's not hate on the 76ers, man.
76ers have plus 1,000 better odds than the Suns to win the title. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
I don't know. Embiid's a top 3 player in the league.
New York Knicks plus 1,500. Dallas Mavericks plus 950. Milwaukee Bucks plus 950. OKC Thunder plus 950. Minnesota Timberwolves plus 900. Denver Nuggets plus 750. Boston Celtics plus 300 to repeat.
OKC at 950 is very interesting.
Yeah, 4th best odds. I think that's pretty accurate.
I think it's accurate, but I mean, if you're looking for value, I think that's very, very good.
I think it's good value. I don't know. There's some I don't know. I don't know how to feel about the Thunder.
I mean, they were close this year to like making a really solid push, and I bet you Presti, he's no Chicago Bulls GM, so he knows the right moves to make.
Do they
Remove
shoot
some of those picks
Do they
for
shoot up to
potential
top 2 if
starting.
they trade for KD?
Oof.
They'd probably give Suns worse odds than the Bulls if we did that trade. Jesus Christ, bro. 176ers and all 3 California teams. That's wild. But that's all I got for the NBA. I don't think I have much else. Plus 300 to repeat. Short odds. They're really confident in the Celtics. My God.
I'm taking Nuggets in that plus whatever 750.
You said what?
I think the Nuggets at plus 750. Was that what you said? 750?
Yeah.
That's what I would take.
All right.
I think that's good value. Plus 300 to win it again.
Yeah.
That's pretty short odds, to be honest.
How many do
Very
they have
true.
to re-sign out of like their main like 6 or 7 guys?
Not many, but winning 2 titles in a row is just difficult. And 3-1 to win any title, honestly, is really short odds in June before we see free agency and all that. But it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. I could see OKC being a team that adds. I'm just confused about OKC because I really thought they were going to beat the Mavericks. I really did, and the fact they didn't, and they didn't even take them to 7 games, concerns me a little bit. But it was
PJ
their
Washington
first playoffs.
having the greatest series from like a
Yeah.
4th option.
He did go the fuck
and then he
off.
was just dog shit the rest of the time.
Yeah, he had his
He had,
moments
like,
in the playoffs.
He had like 2 good games, a great game, and then the rest of it was just dog shit.
I don't put this on him though at all.
Oh no, I wouldn't.
I put it on.
Can't
I mean, I'm
expect
putting it on the
that.
top 2, of course. But if I'm putting it on a role player, it's definitely not him. It might be like Gafford or Derek Jones Jr. Honestly,
I don't think you can throw it on a role player because if you're asking a role player to go toe to toe with like the 3rd option on the Celtics, they're gonna lose.
I agree, but I think the
Celtics
role
are
players
that
need to
top
give
heavy.
you something. Like they were getting into Tim Hardaway
yeah.
Jr., Dante Exum category because they weren't getting shit from anybody, including Luka and Kyrie. Once they threw Tim Hardaway out there, I think that's when the series complete. When they put him out there, and he was actually pretty good.
When I saw
just
Jaden Hardy
outmatched
out there
from
game
the
1, I
start.
thought it might end in 4.
Josh Green was pretty good, actually, though, I think.
He was solid, especially in game 5.
He was good in game 5. He was their best player in game 5.
Looking at the Celtics contract situation, the only players looks like they'll be losing is Luke Cornett, Xavier Tillman, Drew Peterson, and J.D. Davidson.
Who was the one before J.D. Davidson?
Drew Peterson.
What does
They
Porzingis?
They'll lose
lost
Svi as well. They'll lose Svi as well.
Hmm.
You said Jason Tatum?
What does Porzingis have left on his deal?
Porzingis has 2 years, 29 million, 30 million. Drew Holiday has 4 years left still, all at about 33
they just
million.
Signed him.
Yeah.
They just
Obviously, we
He's
see
making
that.
30. He's only making 33 a year.
Yeah.
That's why they're so fucking good. That's it.
Yeah.
Right there.
Him at 33,
Stupid
Kristaps
money.
at 30.
Paying about 10 million under what he should be getting paid.
Jalen Brown is
Derek
at
White, he's gonna be
53.
due in a couple years, I think.
Derek White's got 2 more, 18 and 19. So they're going to be good for at least the next years.
Under 20 for Derek White is crazy.
They're
then-
poised, bro. We didn't say these names at all so far. So we'll end this suck off session of the Celtics with saying Danny Ainge, Brad Stevens.
I said Brad Stevens.
Oh, you did? Oh, okay.
Yeah, you did mention
Crucial parts. Danny Ainge set it up for him. I believe he was the one who drafted Tatum and Brown. Brad Stevens coaches them for a couple of years, goes to the front office, builds a team around him. And honestly, whether it was Udoka or Missoula, either one of them is just a puppet for how good this team is created. And I would like to see Brad Stevens be like, you know what, Missoula, kick rocks, I'm going to coach again. And try to do it as a coach. But yeah, that's all I got to say about the Celtics. Congrats, I guess.
Yeah, Boston fans get another championship that they barely celebrate. They have a championship every 5 years.
What was the stat you said to me the other day?
Not every 5 years. Boston's last championship was 5.5 years ago. It was the Patriots winning Super Bowl 52, I think.
That's the Rams.
That is the second longest drought in Boston history without a championship. 5.5 years.
Among like the 4 major sports?
Yes.
That's atrocious.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I bet if you threw some Boston College hockey championships in there, you could probably lower that number.
In there.
But
That
all right.
killed the vibes.
Yeah, big time. You wanna move on to our top 10 quarterbacks? I actually wrote
I'm ready.
16. So if you guys want to extend it to 15, I'm down.
I only have 10 because I said top
Okay,
10,
that's
not
fine, that's
top
fine.
20.
I'm gonna give
I
my
have
11
I
through
have 5 honorable mentions, so
Yeah, you want to? I was gonna say you want to wait for the honorable mentions towards the end so we don't spoil who's not in it.
yeah.
Okay, so we'll start with we're just gonna go 10 around and then 9 around.
Oh, I thought we'd go the other way.
Yeah, I'd say we start at 1 because that's
I mean, we
obviously
can
the most
all. I think
unanimous.
1, 2, 3 will probably all be about the same.
Right. Yeah, start at 1. That makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
And then that way I can go into 11 through 16 smoothly at the end.
Okay. Should we
You wanna
say it on
just-
3?
Yeah.
No, that's crazy.
I
But
kinda- I mean
Mahomes,
it-
okay, it's fine. Do you guys want us to
Caleb
start at 2?
Williams. Oh, sorry.
Do we want to just start at 2?
Do we need to give reasons for Mahomes or no?
No, I think we can just move on to number 2, right?
Like, just very Mahomey. That's all I gotta say.
I honestly thought there was maybe a chance that Zach went somebody else.
He goes
Why would I
Caleb.
say anything but Mahomes for 1?
All right. For me at 2, I have somebody that I've actually been very critical of, but when I look at this list, I can't put any of the other guys above him. Give me Josh Allen at 2. I think he's the most versatile quarterback outside of Patrick Mahomes, and that's including guys like Josh Allen, or I mean, like Lamar Jackson. But yeah, give me Josh Allen at 2. I know he hasn't. I don't respect him yet as a winner. But if we're going pure talent and we're picking the best quarterbacks, I think Josh Allen is the second best quarterback, not including we're not including accomplishments here, right?
I mean,
Because if so, I'm going to put a guy like, I don't know, like a guy like Dak at 30 because he hasn't done shit.
No. I take who won MVP last year into account.
Yeah, that I do as well. But I'm saying as far as winning games.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not I'm talking
Yeah.
about.
No.
I mean, it's your list. You can include
yeah.
what you want with it. It's your list.
Oh, yeah, give me Josh
So
Allen
for me
at 2. Then.
I have Josh Allen at 2 as well. I think this year's going to be a big prove it year for him because he didn't really take off until he got Stephon Diggs. Now he lost Stephon Diggs, and he's going to be working with a couple wide receiver 2s and then Keon Coleman, who's got to kind of just make his mark in the league still. So if he's performing this year, he's dropping 40 plus touchdowns and 10 or 11 interceptions max. I think I'd be confident to cement him at 2. I was between him and Lamar for number 2. And like you mentioned, Mike, because MVP last year, 2-time MVP. He's just a game changer. But Josh Allen, physical freak. We've seen him jump over people before. We've seen him stiff arm people into the ground a couple times. He's very good. He's the start of this second tier and my number 2 quarterback in the league.
Yeah, I'm kind of shocked you guys both had him at number 2. I had him at number 2 as well. 29 passing touchdowns, 18 rushing touchdowns to go along with it. The only issue with him is that he struggles to beat Patrick Mahomes in the playoffs, but who doesn't? He can throw the ball as far as anybody. He's just a gifted athlete. There's not a quarterback out there that has basically the same size, speed, and strength that he is able to use. The only issue people have with him is the turnovers, and even with the turnovers, he's still he is a top 3 quarterback in the NFL. So I also got Josh Allen at 2.
Right, this is part of the reason why I wanted to do top 15 instead of top 10 because I think our top 5 are going to be almost identical. And since we have an intermission coming up here in 6 minutes, I think you guys can add 5 more quarterbacks to your list because 5 through 15 is interesting. I feel like that's the interesting point. 1 through 5.
I think you can argue 6 through 12
because we all have Lamar Jackson at 3, right? And I mean, we all have Lamar Jackson at 3. Yeah. Okay.
I have him as a 2-time MVP coming off of a career high 4,102 passing yards, career high 24 passing touchdowns, and a turnover play worthy rate of below 3%.
Cool.
Thank you, Wikipedia.
I ain't gotta say all that. I literally just I usually do over notes and I end up having way too much shit. I wish I could show you guys my screen right now. It's just 1 through 16, just first names. I got literally nothing. But Lamar Jackson, I mean, he's versatile, of course, as we know in the run game. He had his best passing season of all time last year. I think he's just continuing to progress. It's starting to look like he has more weapons around him now. I think he's going to continue to be a top 3 quarterback. I guess maybe you can move him to 4, but Mahomes, Allen, Jackson, I feel like have to be your top 3.
Yeah, I retweet. I don't have much else to say. Lamar.
Yeah, I gave my reasonings. I got Lamar at 3 as well.
Okay. Well, yeah, you did.
NFL.com.
I guess after 3 it could start to switch, but I really think 6 through 15 is where it gets interesting. But
I agree.
Give me Joe Burrow at 4.
Okay.
I mean, this is what I mean. I was right. I mean, give me Joe Burrow at 4.
I think after 4 is where it really starts to get.
We're all gonna. I know we're all gonna have the same guy at 5.
No, I swear.
Me and you, Mike, are gonna have the same guy at 5. Honk is gonna have 5 and 6 swapped. That's my prediction.
Okay.
think so?
I think I know.
That-
You know exactly what it's gonna be. But let
Oh,
me get back
no.
to Joe Burrow. He has been a proven winner, but I'm not really counting that in here. He is one of the best football minds at the quarterback position of the game. He obviously has a super talented roster of receivers, but he's going to keep those receivers. If he didn't get injured so much, there's a good chance he could be above Lamar. He has the highest paid contract in the league, and I think he deserves it. Or actually, I don't think he does anymore with Trevor Lawrence, but he has the second most highest paid contract in the league. And I think he deserves it. I got Burrow at 4.
Yeah, so do I. I think I could probably put him higher if he doesn't start every year so slow. But I think a good part of him starting slow this year was the injury. Didn't he had a calf injury that he got in camp and he just never really got to 100% from that. And then when he finally got relatively healthy, he had a few really good games, but then he got hurt and then Jake Browning had to come in and try and make a playoff push. Didn't happen. But
Almost.
yeah, Burrow's my 4.
Yeah, Burrow's my 4 as well. Dealt with injuries in his rookie season and now this season, but the 2 seasons he was fully healthy, back-to-back AFC Championship appearances, a Super Bowl appearance. He's an extremely accurate passer, one of the best decision makers out there. He can read a defense very well. He is champion. I think he's going to win a championship sometime soon. I hope he does for the Bengals. We saw him do it in college, which I guess I'm not counting that in my rankings, but I just wanted to put that out there. But yeah, I got Joe Burrow at 4.
All right. This is where I believe my prediction is going to come true. I have CJ Stroud at 5. And
I've got him. I have him.
you have him at 5?
Oh,
really?
wow.
Swear to God.
I thought you were going to have
Herbert.
Herbert at 5. And
I know. I thought because when you said he's going to solve, yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
so we
I
all
was
so we have the
close.
same top
So
6. That's wild.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Yeah.
does that mean we have
We're
5
gonna have
and
the
6
exact
the
same top 6.
I think after 6 is where it starts getting different.
Just keep saying that after
Wait,
every
hold
pick.
on. What do we have at 7?
We got to see.
No,
Wait.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, let's chill. We're not gonna give up every pick here. But
All right,
CJ
all right,
Stroud
all
at
right.
5.
I got excited.
He had a fantastic rookie year, one of the best rookie years of all time. He's just getting a better team around him. He now has Stephon Diggs. He now has Joe Mixon. I think that whole team is just going to be really good. He's shown, obviously, he has insane arm talent, but he's also a great decision maker. He didn't throw a lot of picks last year, didn't turn the ball over a lot last year. Of course, he lost semi-early in the playoffs after getting a freebie against Joe Flacco. But the Ravens are just such a good team. They're such a complete team. I don't really put that on him. And I really don't. I did go back and forth between Stroud and Herbert. I did have Herbert above him at first, and then I'm like, you know what? It's even though I said I'm not including this, Herbert's lack of winning does, like, I cannot ignore that. Like I joked about it with Josh Allen. Herbert really doesn't win, and that it's hard for me with as talented of teams as he's been on to put him above Stroud. So I'm gonna put Stroud there now, but I think that's a close 5 and 6 there.
I completely agree. The reason why I have Stroud over Herbert is because Stroud won in the bright moment. He won in that wild card playoff game, and Herbert was up 27-0 and choked. And part of the reason they were up 27-0 is because they had short fields multiple times with a career best game from Asante Samuel Jr. with the 2 interceptions in the first half. And then everything just went to shit. And then Chargers couldn't move the ball. Herbert missed a couple throws. That was a couple years ago, but you have to win in the important moments. Stroud, what he did from the pocket out of structure as well this year as a rookie, very impressive. This could definitely change. He could have a sophomore slump and slide down to like 8 or 9 for me, but right now he's number 5.
Yeah, I also have him at number 5. One of the best rookie quarterback seasons we've seen of all time. Third most completions of over 20 yards. Yet he had the lowest turnover-worthy play rate on passes that were more than 20 yards. They add Stephon Diggs and Joe Mixon into this offense. That will help a lot. I expect him to take a small leap forward from how great he was last year already, and I think that puts him in a top 5 quarterback. He was great in the key moments. He had basically a playoff game, week 18 against the Colts, won again in the wild card round as well, and then had to go, unfortunately, up against Patrick Mahomes. But he was phenomenal all season, and I just expect him to continue to get better.
You guys should have told me that you guys were gonna have the same top 5. I would have just thrown Goff in there and just tried to argue it.
Well, see, I originally had Lamar at 2 and Josh Allen at 3, and then I switched it right before we started recording.
That's how I had it for Stroud and Herbert. But moving on to number 6, Justin Herbert is who I have at 6. Like I said, I was back and forth between him and Stroud at 5 and 6. But I just cannot get out of my head his lack of success in the win column in his career so far. I know his teams have had a lot of holes. I know he had Staley, who was a problem. but he's too talented to not be in the top 10, and he hasn't shown enough to be in the top 5, is where I have him right now. So that's why I have him sitting at number 6.
I have him at 6 strictly because the drop off between 6 and 7, in my opinion, is massive. The natural arm talent, the ability to make basically every throw on the field, probably has the strongest arm in the NFL. You could probably argue maybe Josh Allen, Mahomes, maybe, but Herbert's definitely 1 or 2. He's just, he's a very good thrower of the football. Yes, he hasn't won a ton, but I feel like the offensive coaching for him hasn't been what it could have been. It's been very underwhelming. The players, especially on the defensive side of the ball, have been underperforming for the Chargers in his time there. I mean, Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Derwin James has been in and out of the lineup because of injury. So he's at 6, and I feel kind of confident about it based on who I have at 7.
Yeah, same. He dealt with a lot of injuries last season, bad coaching, everything, but he has an elite arm, and he showcased that. He can make any throw on the field. He's going to need some help. He doesn't have the greatest receivers this year. They finally were able to sign Ladd McConkey, their second-round draft pick, today. But I still have him at number 6. He has the talent to be a top 5 quarterback. He just has to go out and win and prove it and actually get it done and stay healthy.
Y'all know what I have to do here at 7. I'm going with JG at 7. I cannot
We
make
finally don't have the same list.
Yeah, the difference.
Told you. Starts at 6.
Once you guys said that you had Herbert at 6, I was like, okay, well now it's about to change after that. But I just cannot make an argument for JG above the 6 guys we already named. I can and will make arguments of him and everybody else in the league. I think he's an unfairly scrutinized player. I think he's a victim of his own career success. I think the shortcomings of what is around him are never talked about as much as all the good things that are around him. People like to say he's good, but he has this on his side. It's not, oh, he was good despite this ever. He hasn't had a good defense in many, many years. He's had a great run game. He's had a great O-line, but so have guys like Lamar Jackson. So he has good weapons. He has Sam Laporta, he has Gibbs, he has Amon-Ra St. Brown. What about Joe Burrow? He doesn't get criticism for having great weapons. He just gets all of the praise. Guys like Goff, people say, oh, it's all everything around him. It's Ben Johnson. It's Amon-Ra St. Brown. It's whatever. I think he's completely unfairly scrutinized. He's the best play action quarterback in the league. He's one of the best quarterbacks against the blitz in the league. His only weakness is he doesn't play well in the winter and outside, but thank God we live in a dome. And
You live in there?
they live in a dome. And I have JG at 7. I can't. I mean, I guess maybe there's a couple guys I could justify being above him outside of the 6 guys, but you guys are going to disrespect the fuck out of him, but that's what we're here for.
Honestly, I'm not going to that much. And to your point about them living in a dome, they do play 14 of 17 games
I know.
in a dome this year. So that's something to keep track of when you're doing your Lions predictions this year for those of you at
And then
home.
in the playoffs, they'll be in Santa Clara, which I think it's pretty nice out there.
Maybe. So for me,
Wait,
it's
so
7.
you're saying that you're not going to get home field advantage?
Oh, it's a good point. It's Santa Clara. If they're going to be outside, it'll be in Santa Clara.
Wow. I mean, you said it yourself.
Shit.
You heard it for your first from a Lions fan.
So for me,
At least
at
we'll be in the
7,
playoffs.
I have
You're talking
this
about-
could be a little bit of a reach, but I have Matthew Stafford.
I don't think that's a reach.
I don't know. I
Officially
like
started.
Stafford. I think when he's at his best, he's a fantastic quarterback, can make a lot of throws. Hell, he's done a few no-lookers a couple times. He's got a Super Bowl ring under his belt. Him and Puka have developed a connection that is very impressive for a veteran quarterback and a 5th-round rookie. And I bet Puka's going to have a similar year next year, plus Cooper Kupp coming back. The Rams are going to win a ton of games this year, in my opinion, and Stafford's going to be a big reason why. Their line is around average, and he's still performed since he's got to LA. I've been very impressed with him. Stafford is my 7.
For 7, I have the guy who led the NFL in touchdown passes, Dak Prescott. It was a disappointing end of the season for him, considering they lost to the Packers, who just got really hot late in the season. But he had only a 2% turnover worthy play rate, lowest in the NFL. Like I said, led the NFL in touchdown passes with 36, only had 9 interceptions. He had a great season, maybe his best as a quarterback. I think he's a top 10 quarterback. He's got Jake Ferguson looking like a solid tight end. CeeDee Lamb had his best season of his career. Was the best receiver in the NFL last year. They didn't even really have a run game really at all, and Dak Prescott was still able to dominate with this offense. He was phenomenal. Just ended bad, but that's just how the Cowboys go. So I got Dak at 7.
Yeah, I have Dak at 8. That was really close for me between him and Goff. I think I have a lot of the same points I have for Goff. I have for Dak. I think because he has a lot of positive things going in his direction, people don't look at the stuff that he has negative. Like you said, Mike, he had no run game last year and still was arguably the best quarterback in the league. I mean, overall, it's of course he's not close to the best, but he had one of the best seasons last year, at least in the regular season. And for his career, it was his best season. And the year before, and even the years he's gotten hurt and had to miss the rest of the season, he was on track to have phenomenal years. I think he is severely underrated as a quarterback. But I definitely have him in my top 10 at 8. Even though there's going to be people out there who have another quarterback in his division higher than him, and that is blasphemy to me.
I also have Dak at 8. Like you guys said, he just had a phenomenal year, his career best year. Him and CeeDee Lamb have developed a great connection. CeeDee Lamb is having a lot of his success because Dak is just being smart with how he gets him the football. He's getting it to him in space, and it's really helping him out. And my big thing with Dak coming into the season is how does he do without a run game? And he was fantastic even without one this year. It, like you said, Josh, they ran into a buzzsaw that the Green Bay Packers were. They went down early. The Cowboys defense got shredded, and they just were not making the plays that they were making in the regular season. So they just got put in a hole. Dak, he tried to get him out, threw a pick 6, I think, and another pick. I don't even know. I try not to remember that game too much because I hate Green Bay. But outside of the playoff game, I think Dak had just a fantastic season as a whole, and he's my 8th best quarterback in the NFL.
I do want to say real quick before we move on about Dak because we're going to stop talking about him. But the Cowboys offense was really weird this last year. They had like stretches where they were by far the number one offense, and then they'd have stretches where they were kind of dog shit. But one thing I will say that an excuse I will make for him or against him is his defense was pretty consistent the whole year. And the fact that they were able to put them in scoring position many, many, many times a game was a big reason for his success. I don't want that to take anything away from Dak, but it was a factor, and I think it does need to be mentioned as to why he's not top 5 after having probably the best quarterback season last year.
Honestly, that's what the good quarterbacks do. Like, because not every quarterback is going to take those defensive opportunities and score every time.
They didn't all the time. That was kind of my point. Is when they were playing bad.
No, I know, but I mean, how many quarterbacks, like behind him, would take advantage more often than him?
Behind him, yeah, I agree. The thing is, everyone above him does.
Yes,
and that's why. And a lot of them don't get as many opportunities as he does. I'm a Dak fan, though. I had to point that out.
And he's gonna get like 57.5
because y'all are gonna say Goff at like 12 or some shit, and then you're gonna be, oh, he has Ben Johnson, and I just want to get ahead of that and start making excuses against other players.
I think I've got solid reasoning for Goff where I have him.
Continue. Mike's up with 8.
Yeah. I'm up to number 8. I have the guy who lost the Super Bowl, Brock Purdy, 78% adjusted completion rate. Top 5, I mean, had a great season. I don't know why you're laughing. He beat Goff in the big game, came back and beat him. 5th in passing yards, 3rd in passing touchdowns. Only had 31 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Had the highest QB rating. This is where these next 4 quarterbacks that I have listed are very close, but I have Brock Purdy beating them all. He had the best record, brought his team to the Super Bowl, and almost won it. So I got Brock Purdy at 8.
Oh, it's me. 9, I have Stafford. I think he's gotten better with age. I think he's aged like fine wine. He had good receivers this year. Of course, he has good weapons, but his O-line has been bad. His defense has been up and down. His run game was great towards the back half of the year, but in the front half of the year, it was a little bit questionable. If you're watching a Matt Stafford team, no matter what the circumstances are, no matter who's playing receiver, no matter who's blocking for him, no matter what kind of run game they got, you're going to get a great pass game out of that team. He's one of the best to ever do it, in my opinion. One of the most overlooked quarterbacks to ever do it. And I'm happy that at least me and Zach have him in the top 10. So I got Stafford at 9.
I have Goff at 9. So my thing about Goff, Dak, Stafford, those three, because I mean, you just said it. We have them at 7, 8, 9. I have yet to see Jared Goff like really perform without the help of something else. Like Dak,
This is exactly what I said you were gonna say. Oh fuck.
I know, but my reasoning. Hold on, my reasoning is solid. Dak, my big question for him was, is he going to be able to perform without a run game? He didn't have one, and he still won, 12 games and provided one of the better offenses in the entire league.
Dominated in the playoffs, too.
And Goff, I mean, if you take away, like you say he's one of the best play-action quarterbacks in the league, right?
The best. I said the best.
The best play-action quarterback in the league. Would he be the best play-action quarterback in the league if he was on, like, the Bears?
You could say that. He was still at the end of his career with the Rams when Gurley was washed.
Without the best running back duo, without the best running back duo in the... Okay, so he had Todd Gurley when he was with the Rams.
He wasn't good at the end of his career with the Rams. Gurley wasn't good. And Goff was still good. Sean McVay just had a fucking thing against him.
Goff was okay.
That's actually incorrect.
He was great he was very good in 17 and 18, a little bit in 16 because Todd Gurley was at the peak of his powers. And then once Todd Gurley started dealing with his arthritis, then Goff started to fall off. And that's why it was Goff and multiple firsts for Stafford.
What about the fact that Stafford or Goff hasn't had a good defense? And you guys, everybody likes to talk about how they don't have any receivers after Amon-Ra. We like to talk how bad Josh Reynolds is and how bad Jameson Williams is. But when it comes to giving Goff credit, we got to take some away because his team is too good. But when we're talking about the Lions as a whole,
I'm not even trying to say that. I'm just saying, I'm just saying, I have him behind Dak because I haven't seen him do it without the crazy good run game. When Dak just did a lot of really good stuff without the crazy good run game.
I have no problem with him at 9. The reasoning I think is bullshit, but I have no problem with him at 9.
I don't think so.
Just because he has a good run game.
Goff is at 9.
All right, let's just go shoot Jahmyr Gibbs and Monty and just see how he is then, just because he needs to prove himself.
It's just how I feel. I mean,
victim of his own success.
It doesn't mean that he's bad. It doesn't mean that he's being carried. I don't know. He doesn't wow me like other quarterbacks do.
You know what he is? That
he doesn't pass the eye test. He doesn't pass the eye test. That's what Zach's saying. He does not pass the eye test.
Quarterbacks above him on your list and my list and Mike's list are not winners. I said I wasn't counting that, but it's been in the back of my head, and it's why I had Herbert under CJ Stroud. And it's why I have Dak under Goff. It's because Goff has gotten it done. All these guys that... Okay, so what's more important?
Hold on, what has Goff won that Dak hasn't?
He's been to a Super Bowl. He's been to an NFC title
and
game.
Put up 3 points in that Super Bowl?
Oh, see, that's what I'm saying, bro.
I'm just saying, bro. Under the bright lights, he faltered.
What is the playoff? What's the playoff record?
Then he held choke a 24-3 lead.
That was not on him. We're not doing that. That was not on him in any way, shape, or form. He is one of the very few players completely... No blame on him. Not an ounce of blame on him.
It wasn't perfect, but no,
what did he do wrong in that second half? Like, what did he do wrong? He threw it too good to Josh Reynolds.
The game film memorized. Relax.
I do. But... that's why I'm passionate about it, because that's bullshit.
Yeah, that you do, obviously, because it's a nightmare you get every couple weeks. But
yeah, weeks is a stretch. It's more like.
But Goff is a top 10 quarterback. They had to pay him. I don't blame them, regardless of calling it setting the market. They had to pay him. He wins games.
This is what I mean, bro. They did set the market. That's what we just saw. You see that Trevor Lawrence deal? Oh my God.
Trevor Lawrence is setting the market.
Yeah, that's what happens when every player gets paid. It's just the fact that we did it first. We were early to it, I should say. I got no problem with 9. I just want that to be out there. I have no problem with 9.
Goff is a top 10 quarterback.
The reason I think is bullshit.
He's going to continue to win games for Detroit, but he does have a ceiling. But if that ceiling is being a quarterback for a Super Bowl contending team, that's perfectly fine.
And if you don't have Goff in your top 10, Mike, I'm going to lose it. I just want that to be out there now. I'm going to lose my shit if you don't.
I'm going to be honest. I'm going to spoil my list a little bit. Purdy's not in my top 10. So him having Purdy over Stafford and I believe Goff is blasphemous to me.
I mean, he got farther than both of them, no?
So it's just winning now? I gave multiple reasons for Goff.
I gave multiple reasons. I mean, we're not going to, are we just going to forget that Brock Purdy was the favorite to win MVP in like week 15 this year?
The MVP doesn't matter. It's a different favorite every week.
I'm just saying. I mean, at one point he had a
MVP came
couple
down
week
to a
stretch that he
Monday
was
Night Football
phenomenal,
game.
and
We
he
wanna
had
make all
one bad
these
game.
excuses against Goff, dude.
He had
What is this with
he had the
Purdy?
highest QB rating, the highest touchdown to interception rating.
I'm having a problem arguing with you right now because I want to use what Honk just said against you, but you and Honk are different people, so I'm gonna let this one go.
I haven't said anything really bad about any of these quarterbacks. I'm just saying what I'm thinking.
You haven't. He was just making every excuse in the book against Goff.
Yeah.
But if he was also bringing up Purdy, I would have had a problem with that because Purdy's had it on a silver platter. I still think he's really good, but
you can put something on a silver platter, but you still got to go in and perform.
If Goff is on the Niners, they're 8-time Super Bowl champions.
He hasn't.
I digress.
That's just not true. But at number 9, I'm gonna probably piss both of you off here. I'll piss both of you off here. I got Jordan Love at number 9.
Wait, above Goff?
I don't think that's
above Goff.
I don't think
Above
over
Goff,
Goff.
above Jalen Hurts.
I think that's messed up. But Love within a top 10 is not crazy.
I mean, he had a top 10 season last year, no doubt about it. 7th in passing yards, 4,159. 2nd in passing touchdowns, 32 to 11 touchdown interception ratio. Had a great QB rating. I mean, he had a slow start to the season, and he still was able to come back.
His running backs are too good.
I never said any of that. That's just not what I said at all. And honestly, his receivers aren't too good. Yeah,
I think you could
he didn't have a phenomenal run. He did not have a great running game like Dak Prescott. He does not have the elite receivers.
What does he do better than Jared Goff?
What does Jared Goff do better than Jordan Love?
Yeah, what does Jared Goff do better than play action? Say something other than play action.
I at least said one thing. You haven't said anything.
All you have is play action.
I've also said he was a winner. He's very accurate.
He's a winner.
Goff's only problems are he sometimes isn't good in the cold and he sometimes cannot hit the deep ball.
Hold on.
Those are his only problems.
What's Jordan Love's career winning percentage compared to Goff's?
Jordan Love has played one season. Jordan Love has played one.
That's why I said win percentage.
What's their playoff records?
I mean,
okay,
one and 1. Love's 1-1.
Okay, what's Goff? Probably like 5-4, 6-4.
Massive difference.
Like that.
We're just talking about a top 10. We're our top 15 quarterbacks right now. I have Love at 9.
Whatever.
I think
that's fucking insane. But
you give me a quarterback to play for this season, I would rather have Jordan Love over Jared Goff. That's just me.
Okay, cool. That's insane. But regardless, we'll move on here. What are we at 10 now?
Yes, we're at 10.
Give me Jalen Hurts at 10. I honestly wanted to put. I hate all my 10 through 11 like as people. Well, actually, no, I like 11. But, I couldn't decide which one of them I liked the least to put where, so I just gave it to Hurts, I guess. I just think because he's a super good athlete. I think he struggles with decision making. I think he struggles with accuracy. I don't want to say he's not a true quarterback, but there's just many people on my even top 15 that I'm taking their decision making ability over him. I just think he's such a good athlete, and I think we're in an era where the athlete quarterbacks matter so much that I couldn't keep him out of my top 10. Plus, he did go to a Super Bowl. But I guess we'll continue to give these quarterbacks credit who are on great teams, but not give them any of the flaws for being on great teams. But regardless, give me Hurts at 10, I guess. I'm not a big fan of Jalen Hurts. There was a big drop-off, in my opinion, after 9, but...
My number 10 might be very controversial. I have Trevor Lawrence at 10.
Ooh.
Okay, well.
Hey, you can have him on this one. I'm gonna sit back. You can have him on this one.
No, I'm not even gonna go after him because I just completely disagree. He has like 3 games in his career with over 2 passing touchdowns. He's been in the NFL for 3 seasons.
I mean, it's the eye test. He just looks like a good quarterback, a top 10 quarterback. He really does. Like when he plays, he makes
This is going off the rails.
Really good
throws.
Going
completely off.
He's not perfect. He's sneaky athletic. He's very good. I would take him over my 11 to 15.
You take him over Jordan Love. That's ridiculous.
I would. Yeah.
That's ridiculous, man. Jordan Love.
Bro. I feel like I'm at a Jordan Love's brothel right now with the sucking
Jordan Love's
going on.
Like 2 playoff games is better than any game Trevor Lawrence has played in his NFL career. But
dude is obsessed with the win.
I'm just saying.
You're obsessed with that win over the Cowboys. You're obsessed.
I mean, that was not the best defense in the NFL this season?
Congrats, bro. It was a great win.
And let's not forget what happened to that Packers game against the Lions on Thanksgiving. What happened there?
What happened after the Packers had their win? We were still winning. They lost. We kept winning. What happened in week 4 in Lambeau? What happened then? That's what I
But
thought.
that's week 4. I said he had a rough start to the season, and then he picked it up.
Okay, great. Goff was good the whole year.
Oh man.
We could do this all day. I mean, am I up? Or no, I just said Hurts.
No.
No.
You're up.
I need to hear is, other than the eye test, anything else?
Oh, Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, continue.
He just makes a ton of really good throws. He can throw it pretty much everywhere on the field outside of like 60-yard, like 65-yard throws that like Mahomes, Josh Allen, and Herbert can make. He's got an extremely good arm. He's very accurate. His mechanics are good. And he's above average outside of structure. I just think he's a very good quarterback. And it's just a gut feeling for me. Maybe it's a little bit of bias against Jordan Love and the Packers logo, but I have Trevor Lawrence at 10.
Yeah, 10.
He's also played a big role in that playoff win, but
At 10, we round off my top 10 with Jared Goff.
Yeah, if you would have put him at 11, I was gonna fucking flip my shit.
I mean, I was considering it with Jalen Hurts or maybe someone else here, but I didn't.
The delusion. Jalen Hurts, man.
I didn't say it though. I didn't say that. Come on, I didn't say.
Why would you even consider that though? Like, what is there to consider there?
I mean, did Jalen Hurts not have a phenomenal season 2 years ago? I mean,
did Goff not have a phenomenal season this year?
Jalen Hurts. I mean, I put him at 10. I don't know what you're complaining about. 85.2% passing grade in
The Jordan Love,
2023, highest in his career. 3.4% big time throw percentage was the highest single season number since his Rams days. 2.4% turnover worthy play percentage was his career low this year. Yeah, he was 67% completion percentage, 4,500 yards, 7.6 yards per attempt. Had maybe his best season of his career. I put off a 10.
Like, what do you have bad to say? Because there's something
I'm
bad
not
to
saying
say. You have
I'm
Mobley
not
at
saying
10.
I'm not
got
saying
something
bad
bad
things
to
about
say
any of these
about-
guys.
Oh, okay. Then everybody's great, I guess.
I'm just giving people their flowers. I'm not taking them away.
We're on 11 now.
Mhm.
Yes.
This is where I got confused with a guy that I used to hate that I don't hate anymore. Aaron Rodgers at 11.
Yeah.
I believe his mind and his ability from the waist up is going to conquer him tearing his Achilles at age 40. If he can stay healthy, I think he's in a great situation now. He has a great O-line. He has great weapons. I think Rodgers is going to be really good this year. I don't give a fuck about him skipping mandatory OTAs to go do ayahuasca or whatever the hell he's doing right now. I don't give a fuck about any of the off-field stuff. I don't give a fuck about him being vice president, possibly. I think he is being massively overlooked as a guy who's won 2 MVPs in, the last 4 years now? I mean,
let's not act like those were like the 2 years
I think he's
prior.
2 and 5.
That's what I mean. Like he won 2 MVPs, tore his Achilles, and now it's this year. So, I mean, people are overlooking him a bit, I think.
I agree. But at
2021,
11,
man.
2021, yeah. But for me at 11, I have Jordan Love. It was not necessarily a coin flip between him and Trevor Lawrence, but the fact that he was able to do what he did with the inexperienced receiver room and a lack of a consistent run game because Aaron Jones missed like 10 weeks and then came back and then was playing hobbled for a good amount of time. And then he ended up getting pretty hot at the end of the year, taking them to the playoffs, playing a very large part in their win over the Cowboys in Dallas. That was very impressive to me. I'm not necessarily petrified of him yet, but the thought of the Packers having a third straight guy who can just go win like 9, 10, 11 games a year, it pisses me off a little bit. But Jordan Love at 11, I think that's a solid spot for him.
Uh-oh. This is where I'm going back and forth between 2 guys right here. One of them is the guy I would predict actually jumps pretty high on this list. The other one is the guy who's been on this list. I'll stick with normality. I'll go with Jalen Hurts at 11. He had an up and down season last year. Had a great start, but as the season went on, like the entire Eagles team, he just kind of fell apart. He set a career high in passing yards, touchdowns, but also career high in interceptions. The rushing threat was not good, and that was one of his reasons for his struggles. And yeah.
I made a decision at some point in here that I'm just gonna do what the fuck I want. What?
I gotta go.
You have to go?
It's 4:40.
Oh, okay. Well, see you.
Do you want me just to list off my 12
Yeah,
through
go
15?
ahead. List yours then. Yeah.
Okay. At 12, I have Kyler Murray. Obviously the
I was
stats aren't
about to,
there.
you stole my show. I was about to go Kyler at 12
Yeah.
over Jordan Love. Over Jordan.
Yeah, I got
Don't give
Kyler at
reasoning, just
12.
say the names.
He doesn't have stats to show it, obviously, because he missed most of the season, but I think he's going to have a great season with Marvin Harrison. At 13, I have Aaron Rodgers coming off the torn Achilles. I don't think he's going to have I don't know what to think about Aaron Rodgers, to be honest. At 14, I have Tua Tagovailoa. I don't even think he's that great. I just have him there. And then 15, I got Kirk Thuggins just because he was great before the injury. I know Josh hates that pick with a burning passion. Oh, what happens before the injury? It was great before the injury.
That's the only reason anybody asked for him. It's the only justification.
And the year before that, he was great. Led his team to the playoffs. I mean, fuck it. Do you want me to put Anthony Richardson there? I mean,
go ahead, bro.
No, I'm not going to. I also don't want to put Trevor Lawrence on this list because I don't like Trevor Lawrence.
Okay, so you
It's
do what
my
I
list.
did. You just flopped hater picks for me. That's all.
I got Justin Fields as my top special
Best
team
backup.
returner.
Best backup.
He's my top special team returner. So
All right, well, see you, Mike. Deuces. All right, Zach. Let's power through this here at the end.
We got it.
12. I just said it. I got Kyler over Jordan Love. Jordan Love has done successful things for one season, and everybody's acting like he's had a career of it. I'm tired of it. I think I actually like. We talked about it all year about Jordan Love. We probably have had hours of conversation on those podcasts about Jordan Love, and for the most part, me and Mike are the ones that have been in support of him, and you've been the one against him. But at this point, I just cannot handle people putting him over people like Goff and Dak. Like, that's just fucking insane. But I got Kyler at 12. We knew two. You want to do two at a time now?
That's up to you.
If
If you're on a roll, go for
whatever. Because I'm saying it brings me in. I got Jordan Love at 13. So I have Kyler 12, Jordan Love 13.
All right. I've got Rodgers at 12. I think his 2022 was a little lackluster, and I'm a little concerned about him coming off this injury. But at the same time, like you mentioned, his top half, his brain, and his ability to just flick the ball 40 yards without it making any sort of difficult like notion at all, that's probably going to reign supreme. Him and Garrett Wilson are probably going to have a fantastic year if they're both healthy. Brees Hall having last year to kind of ramp up from that ACL injury at the end of his rookie season or the back half of his rookie season, and having just what should be a stable running game, a much improved offensive line. The Rodgers will be upright, and I think him and Garrett Wilson are going to be great. A little bit of Mike Williams in there too if he decides to play more than 6 games in a season. I think that offense will have top 5 potential if they're healthy, but they got a lot of aging vets on there, especially in the O-line spot, so that could get dicey. At 13, I have Jalen Hurts. I can't discredit the fact that he had a phenomenal 2022 season. I keep missing that up or messing that up because it's 2024 right now. The Super Bowl was just played.
Yeah.
Right. The 2022 season, he had a great year, but in 2023, he really fell off, and it was a good amount of just the coaching wasn't there. Sirianni, he's just a mascot for him at this point, but he does have the surrounding personnel that he should still be producing. But the back, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 games of the year, the Eagles as a whole were very underwhelming, and Jalen Hurts was a big, unfortunate driving force of that, especially in the playoff game, playing against an inferior roster in general. Doesn't matter if you're on the road, and it's not like you're a warm team going to a cold environment. You're a cold team going to a warm environment, which shouldn't hinder you. They just dropped the ball against Tampa Bay, and they had a chance to go play, I think, Detroit, but I don't remember all the seeding right now. But yeah, I have Hurts at 13, but he's still very good. What he brings as a scrambler, escape artist, whatever you want to say, it cannot be ignored, regardless of the tush push scenario. He can move the ball, he can move the chains at times when necessary. So I have him at 13.
Yeah, they wouldn't have played us. I honestly, I intentionally put Jalen Hurts low on my list because I wanted to be the one with him lowest, and I ended up being the one with him highest at 10. So that's wild. But
Really? Wow.
I think we might have Purdy in the same spot then because I have Purdy at 14. You have him lower than that? Wow.
I got something to say.
I got Purdy at 14. I think, like I said, I think he's been spoon fed everything, but I also think he's been a good quarterback. I can't stomach putting him in the back half of the league. If you're gonna not put him in top 15, that's a little bit crazy.
Back half is 17 and lower.
16 and lower. Or you're right. You're right. Been in NBA mode. I've been in NBA mode. regardless, I guess we could do top 16 here. Fuck it. You know what? No, 15.
I have
No, no,
16.
no, 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 no. Fuck
I
my
have
numbers.
16.
I do have
I
a
have to
16,
say
but I don't want to
16.
give him. I don't want to give him part of it. So
I
I
have
have
to. I
Purdy
have to give 16
14,
credit.
T-Law 15. So that's my list. My top 15 ends with T-Law, and then my one honorable mentions Kirk Cousins at 16.
Really? Well, for me, I got Kyler at 14, Kirk at 15, Purdy at 16.
Wow. Wow.
I feel like that like 3 or 4 game stretch where they were missing Trent Williams and Debo really did a number on me. So I have Purdy there because he struggled when they were missing those two.
Yeah.
And they still had CMC, Ayuk, Kittle. Like
We're pretty
it's
much
not
on the
like
same
they
page
were-
with Purdy. I mean, 14 and 16.
right. I just Purdy in the top
Mike had him at what,
7.
8? 7?
7 or 8,
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
That I
Something
think
like
that's
that.
crazy.
I mean, that just brings me back to my whole point, which
maybe
I
it's a
knew I was
little-
going to get mad about when we got in here, is I knew Goff was going to get unfair rationalizations against him, and I knew guys like Purdy and Jordan
that's the
Love
difference
were
for
not going to
me.
get any. And
That's the
pissed me.
difference for me. Ben Johnson and like they both have the great coach, but only one of them has like an elite receiving room, which is Purdy. And once one of those guys went down, then it was just shit sort of hit the fan, even with the best running back in the league by a mile behind him and one of the best tight ends in the league and an all right offensive line.
Well, just look at it like this. If we're just doing Purdy and Goff, take away Amon-Ra and Penei Sewell and take away Debo and Trent Williams, the Niners team is better. Like
Right.
it is just better.
Yes.
And
that's why Goff is at 9 and Purdy is at 16 for me.
Yeah, but I knew I was gonna have to come out here and defend Goff. I really wasn't considering any rookies. I just wanted to fool you beforehand to see if I was.
I would have loved to honestly, if I had to put Caleb somewhere. Oh man, I mean, I probably 15, slide him in between Kyler and Kirk, just because of the physical like arm talent. We've seen him make a bunch of crazy throws. We have yet to see him process at a pro level, but he's also not a non-athlete. He's very athletic as well. He's probably going to be able to run for 5-6 rushing touchdowns this rookie season, but it's also going to be tough to judge him because a lot of people are going to say, oh, he's walking into the best situation a number 1 pick has ever walked into. So if he does well, he's going to have that against him. But if he does poor, it'll be like, oh, how is he not doing well? Because he has this.
Get used to it, brother. It's my personal hell.
But
I mean, I wouldn't have hated that because I know damn well if we did this list 2 years ago or however many years ago when Trevor Lawrence got drafted, I would have put him in my top 15. But regardless,
I can't. I just
gotta wrap it up here. But all right, that about does it for this episode of the Engage 8 pod. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit all the links in our description for Spotify, TikTok, and all that good stuff. We'll be back next week, probably talk about Stanley Cup Finals. It should be over by then, I would assume. Should be over by then. As well as whatever other stuff we want to talk about. Maybe we delve into some baseball, who knows. Or another draft. But until next time, we will see everybody in the next one.